Well, hello there, Sheila.
Florida, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good now that we're all
Good.
situated.
Exactly.
Oh, it's good to see you. I've missed you.
I've missed you too. I still can't believe we haven't met in person.
I know. I was totally thinking about that this past past little bit, and I was thinking to myself, I think I'm going to do a road trip, just maybe by myself.
That would be awesome too.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and then I thought,
Yeah.
well, I'd kind of like Seth to see where I grew up,
Yeah. Well, he would be cool too. Um, but I think because then it's more a little bit more personal and a person's not, whether Seth comes or not, that's awesome. But we're going to be able to connect more
Yeah.
without worrying about the husbands and if they're happy and for yourself too, to be able to really dive into the memories and on your time with you as the priority. And I'd love to meet everybody as well. So that's just something to take into consideration. um because whenever, Mike is awesome too, but there's always that, you know and they're always okay, the spouses are always okay, but because we're nurturers, we're always thinking, can we really get into my own self in a situation like that when you're going back in time, and a time when you were by yourself, even though you had your family, you know what I mean? Like, to really dive into the memories and the feelings and the emotions without having to nurture somebody else but yourself.
It almost makes me want, like what you're saying right now, just makes me want to cry.
Well, that's, and I just, when I talk about that, it comes back to, like, even when we go to the cemetery where my dad is buried in Kelowna, you know, can you get into it as much as you want to with somebody there? That's all. I don't know. It's my personal opinion on that, because I mean, there's a lot you and I could just, and whether Seth's there or not, I'm not saying, but we could just take off and we could go out to Spring House. We could go where the old school was, because they took it down a few years ago. And Mike and I were actually doing a drive down Chimney Valley while they were taking it down, and we didn't know. And I was like, how sad. What a fucking waste of money, for one, for these schools that they've dismantled. Some people have bought other schools around Williams Lake, made them into their homes.
Oh, wow,
The
really?
smaller, the smaller schools, yeah, yeah. Um, but you and I could just take off. We could take off anywhere with no care to the wind.
Well, and that's what I was thinking because, like you said, I mean, when I come with my family, I'm coming with a lot. Like I'm
Yeah,
coming, then I have to get an Airbnb and I have to get the dogs looked after. I have to
yeah,
look after Seth. We have to be mindful of my P's and Q's around John, what I want to share, what I don't want to share.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think that's what's going to have to happen this year is a girls' trip, whether
yeah.
that's me coming and staying with you,
Yes, yeah,
and we're just by ourselves, and that would
yeah,
be fucking amazing, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's going to happen. I'd love for John and Seth to go out to Springhouse and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, we can do that another time. But I really feel a calling to actually go back because the last time I was back was when Dad died. So we had to close down his apartment. And like when your father dies, like you're so fucked up, you
Yeah.
know, just so I remember sitting there in the registration thing, and I was just sitting there and I was just a pile of mess. I couldn't
Yeah.
even cope because it was so traumatizing, I guess. And,
Yeah.
but then you have to deal with all the logistics, you gotta close everything down, do the banking, do it's just like,
Yeah.
and I always said to myself, holy shit, I think you need a whole year and then, or like some time, space to actually breathe a little bit. So it was pretty overwhelming when I was there. And then we drove out to Spring House and walked around the property, and there was a lot of friction going on between me and my brother a little bit, like, some disconnect and, just family stuff. And I actually would like him to go back too.
Yeah.
But I mean, he'll go back when he needs to go back. I think I really want to focus on me and
Yes.
I want to do something for myself. And
Yes.
I've been really having some good conversations with myself.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is lately, but I think it really works well for me when I can split up my personality. I can be more of like a two person, like that person over here is saying one thing and then this other one is on this shoulder saying something. So I think it's time for me to put a little bit of time into myself. I think Seth is gonna maybe go to school next year. Um, he's 14, he'll be going into grade 9. Do I think it's a good idea? Or me and John? No, probably. Well, I think we can always find good in everything, right?
Yeah.
He'll be able to gain a lot of growth from being around others, and especially in this toxic world we're in. He needs to, see the toxicity that's out there that they're propagating.
Yeah.
And we'll see how long he goes. I mean, John was just mentioning it the other day. We don't know if it will work out or it won't, but we're here to support him, and not that it's his decision either, because we're the parents. And
Yeah.
we have to, but I think as you know, a team, we've decided that I think this is going to be, yeah, a very interesting year next year. And so for
Yeah.
me, that, like, how it is with kids. I mean, it doesn't matter how old they are, they're still your children and you're still looking after them,
Yeah.
especially the kind of mother I am too. I'm pretty hands-on. And
Yeah.
so I think that having him in school away from me for that many hours is really going to be a different, it's just going to be a different situation for me, which is going to be great. But
Yeah.
I really want, like, I was thinking about, oh, I'm gonna cry. I was just thinking about you the other day, and like, to have someone who's known you since you were little, and then to reunite that kindle, that kinship that we had so many years ago. Because I don't know, like, you were my best friend. Like, we were best friends. Like, that's the way I see you, right? And
Yes.
I really feel that we started going separate ways, and I'm really sad about that in some ways. You don't want to regret your past, but you know, I mean, we're connecting now, so that's what's important. But there was so much going on in my life back then, and yours too, that we got separated. And it's just really fucking cool that we're reunited. And we really got a sisterhood, me and you. I feel like you are like my sister, and I'm craving more of that. So I'm really excited about this relationship with you going forward as we get older.
Well, thank you for that. I think, all friends are really awesome. And especially, at this age, we've come to know what really truly is a friend. And, but there's something about, like you say, people that know your past and the longevity of that. I mean, we probably, kind of parted ways around, I don't know, 13 or something like that, right? So we're looking at, 45 years of really not seeing each other. Holy fuck, that's a long time. But I've been off Facebook now for about 6, 7 months, but that's how we reconnected. Is I found you on Facebook, and I remember one day I was just like, Lorna, I'm going to see if I can find Lorna, like, just out of the blue. And there you were. So it's quite nice when people yes, they have their married names and stuff, but you know, they also have their maiden name, their birth name on Facebook, so people can be found if they want to be found. You know, if they don't, that's cool too. But that's how I found you. So I don't know how we would have connected otherwise at that time. I'm sure the source had plans and we would have eventually, right? Because it was meant to be. But that's one thing that, you know, social media is good for. Probably not a whole lot other things than that, you know, supporting or portraying a person's business and stuff, yes, and spreading the light, yes. Which I think Seth is going to do in school. I think that I believe that ourselves and people that are older than us are the first wave of light coming in. Can you imagine being awake 30, 40 years ago? I believe those people, other people thought they were crazy and they were thrown into institutions, myself, but we are the first wave. And I believe, you know, our kids around 30 are the second wave. And I believe the kids in school and the babies being born now are the third wave. And I believe that they will make the biggest difference. So him going to school, I think, you know, if everyone agrees, I think that's a great thing, knowing that he has a safety net in his parents and he can come back and be homeschooled once again. But you've raised such a, well, all of them, but Seth is such a bright light, but such a strong yet soft personality that he's not going to put up with shit, and he's not going to be um, distracted into thinking the things that are being pushed in the schools, you know. But we got to remember, the schools were created to control, as the medical system, the education system, the political system, all this stuff. So I applaud you and him for, you know, thinking about going to school, because I think he's going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
And he's going to be that person when a kid is like wanting to maybe speak up or to speak his mind or to ask why or to say no. I think that Seth could very well be that rock. Not that that's his job, but maybe that's why he came,
Yeah.
you know?
He's such a strong personality, and everyone, since the time that we put him in school, we held him back 1 year because we kind of did the Waldorf thing, and then we had him in Alpine Glow, which was a mix of Waldorf philosophies, but it was in the public school system for funding.
Thanks. Yeah.
And we did that for several years, and then took him out when all that other stuff happened. And but he's always been the older person in the classroom because no one held back their kids. So it was like, you know, everyone was always looking up to him. And I think that time away was probably a benefit to him, because it was kind of exhausting for him to
Yeah.
have all these little minions always on him and, you
Yeah.
know, looking up to him. And I found, even when he went back to school, because he went back to school last year, he just wasn't relating with anyone. No connections at all with these kids that he went to school with when he was younger. And
Yeah.
so he spent a lot of time not in school, you
Yeah.
know. And I think that's why he chose, like, he was like, yeah, I don't want to go to school this year. And because it was more, whenever they would bring up certain subjects, he would go to the bathroom, phone me, and then I would pick him up. And, you know, health class was not very good at all. It was terrible what they were teaching the kids. And if he would have went to school this year, I would have been battling. And so I'm thankful that he didn't, because I don't need to spend my energy in there fighting for
Yeah.
him. So I think
Well,
this next chapter is going to be really interesting, and I'm really excited. I'm feeling really, like I said to you before we started recording, John went back to work for this week. Um, and then Michael and Georgie, Michael's my oldest, he's 40, and he got married in Tasmania, and then that was back in November. So they ran away, got married in Tasmania, went to Australia, that's where she's from. And then they had this celebration on the 20, I guess it was on the 30th of May. And it was a big party and it went really well. And it was just a lot going on and a lot of kids at the house. And so a lot of energy. So on the next morning and like on Sunday, or I guess on Sunday, everyone left, right? So he left, everyone left. It was just me and Seth. And for me, it's really important that I have my alone time too. So I actually quit drinking coffee. Holy mother fricker.
Good for you.
Well, just for now.
Yeah.
I might have a cup of coffee today because I'm going out to lunch with these girlfriends of mine. And and I never order coffee out, but the last time we were there, they made an extra coffee for someone and they didn't need it. It was too much. And so I had it. It was like the best coffee I've ever tasted. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a coffee today, maybe. But so I've been doing Dandy Blend. It was just nice to get boom kicked right out of my comfort zone, and everyone's gone. New Lorna, and I said to myself, you know what? I want to be proud of you. Like I was talking to my other self. You know,
Yeah.
and then the other person goes, I want to show up to be that person that you're proud of,
Yeah.
you know? So what does that person do? What kind of rituals does she do? What kind of attitude does she have? What kind of activities does that person do that you can look at, Lorna, and say, I'm proud of that woman. I'm so proud to be part of her because she
Yeah.
is me. So I've been doing
Good.
a lot of, yeah, that kind of twisting my head. And so I went off caffeine and I started doing almost like a sardine. I'm eating sardines and oysters and some pickles. And so I'm keeping things really kind of clean and
Yeah.
really upping my fats for my brain.
Yeah.
And of course, no booze or anything. So, and then, yeah, it's been going pretty good.
Good. And
Yeah.
it's interesting, you know, uh, what's his Dr. Ken Ford, who I've seen at events. He says dark chocolate and coffee are two thumbs up. And then you listen to Heather O'Neill, who says caffeine, no, no. So I think it's about sifting and sorting and find what resonates for a person. And yes, um, sometimes we get into our comfort zone and we have a certain routine and it involves certain things. And it's good to break from that because yes, we're comfortable and we work hard and think that this is what I deserve is to sit here and have this and so be it. But when that comfortable becomes when you're not happy and your soul is saying to you, because even our imagination is real, like our dreams, we're astro traveling, all this stuff. So that's your soul saying, you know what? Yeah, I think, you know what? I'm just going to show myself that I can take a break from this stuff and go back to it if I choose, whatever that is. You know, my husband quit marijuana for 4 months. I'm probably never going to consume cannabis again after 27 years. But before I went to my last ayahuasca, we went camping. We were camping for 5 nights. So I camped with one, then I left for 2 nights and I came back. And as I was leaving after that first night, I had cleaned out the trailer because I realized that I had really nothing to prepare good food in it, right? Like what we ate all the time camping was hot dogs, hamburgers, um, processed meats and buns, just really easy stuff, right? So I'm like, fuck this, I got to go through the camper and see what I've got, see what I need so I can restock it for the next time we go out. So I'm still eating like I had been for 2 months on a shaman dieta. And I found a jar of cannabis, some nice big buds. And from what I recall, the strain was quite nice. So over breakfast before I left, I said to him, "Are you, you've been 4 months without cannabis. Are you ever going to smoke it again?" And he said, "Well, I said, I wasn't going to quit forever." And I said, "Okay, cool. Just so you know, I found a jar of buds in the cupboard. I'm not going to tell you exactly where because we have like two cupboards. So if you want to find it, you'll find it. And I'll see you in a couple of days." And so when I came back, the trailer smelled a little bit like marijuana because our favorite thing used to, have a puff before bed or watch a movie or something. And so I said, "How was it?" And he said, "Pretty good." He had rolled one joint and enjoyed it. And oh, prior to leaving, I said, and if you are going to do it, can you please make sure you're done cooking? Because in the past, he's sometimes forgotten that something's on the stove or whatever. And so here's me, the nurturer and the worrier about the dogs and everybody burning up or something. And he hasn't had it since.
Wow.
He's respectful around me, knowing that I know that some of my dark energy feeds off of that. And we enjoy our mapacho, which is sacred tobacco from Peru, is where we get ours. And we enjoy our hape, which is a sniffing snuff also for different things, plant medicines from Peru. And he'll come home now and we'll puff on a mapacho cigar. Sometimes I inhale, sometimes I don't. And sometimes I don't even have one. So I also quit coffee and sugar and salt and pork and red meat and processed foods and dairy over the last 2 months. And I have to say, I enjoy my decaf cup of coffee with my oat milk and maple syrup in the morning. Yeah. And I don't fucking care if people say, well, it's good or it's bad or it's whatever. I am a soul and I came here for a human experience. And part of that is enjoying the pleasure of the things that we enjoy. When they become when it's no longer serving us and we're serving it, where it's become an addiction, so I can sit and eat or drink a whole pot of coffee or fucking whatever and sit there for 4 hours. Okay, you know what? That's not really making me happy. I perk my coffee in a 2-cup little percolator on the stove, and I enjoy my 2 cups, and off I go. So
Well,
I
it's
allow
funny,
myself.
and I totally believe that. I totally believe that. Like, and the reason why I did quit, I feel like it was just becoming like I could feel the energy of it. It was low energy. It was heavy. It felt heavy. And I felt, like you said, I just wanted to put it on the shelf for a bit, you
Yeah,
know? And because I don't like it. I don't like when something becomes too ingrained in a habit.
yeah,
Whether that's the phone, like I've been actually really thinking about this goddamn phone lately too.
yeah,
And, the importance of, even though Seth is 14, he still looks up to me and he looks at me for mentoring, right? Even though you don't know it, your kids are always watching you. And he's voiced a couple times that because I can't multitask. If I'm working on something on my phone, I can't be present with him.
yeah,
And if I try, he notices it and he calls me out.
yeah,
So I started making a practice of if he's upstairs and we're here together, whatever the fuck I'm doing, I put it away. Put
yeah,
it put it away. And I mean, I'm not always perfect, but I put it away and then I'm present. He's playing the piano, he's playing the guitar, he's doing his homework. We're and then he's singing, he's rapping. I'm present. I'm watching him. He's
yeah.
enjoying his mother being present with him. And so the phone, like I had a discussion with John the other night, and I'm like, we have to do better. What happened to the days where, like I'm reminiscing on the days you get out of bed, you do your stretches, you know, we never went to the fucking bathroom with a phone. Like I can't believe most of our society now goes, they don't look for toilet paper, fuck the toilet paper. No one's thinking about the toilet paper. Um, they're screaming in there, hey, texting you, I need some toilet paper. Oh, they have the phone. But I'm just like, I did just like, oh, I was, like it's just, oh, I challenged myself. I didn't go to the bathroom with the phone all day. Like, I think we're just getting retarded. And,
Oh,
I just think it takes away, like, so I'm just really trying to process that too the next couple days. I'm going to rewire that kind of process of
yeah,
what's acceptable. Like, I'm going to go talk to that other Lorna And I'm going to say, or I'm going to just say, you know, I think that's why it's so important to share our experiences too, because like, even like with you, making those pivotal changes in your life, when you share that with someone, that's almost like someone I can look up to, and that's what we do with people, whether, they give us strength to do it too. When they can see
Yeah.
someone doing it, they go, oh, look at that person. So it's nice to do it with yourself, almost like, would you be proud of yourself? A daughter, if you had a daughter and she just constantly on the phone, like, this is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, our society is just, I've been contemplating that, it's just so complicated with business, trying to, if you have a business, um, it's so funny. I was watching stuff on the Instagram, and nowadays they've got a lot of people making sourdough bread, and they've got the perfect little apron on, and they've got the styled hair and the boho shit in the background. I mean, everything is so styled,
Yeah.
oh, the perfect combination of colors, and
Yeah.
that's just not real life. And
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not good at playing that kind of role. I'm a point and shoot, get it done. Not to say I don't put on lip gloss, because I love lip gloss, but I'm just like, this society, like, you remember the days that we used to get up. I used to make 5 loaves of bread every week for my family. I used to make snacks for their lunches, and I was present all the time. I
Yeah.
feel that you have to be really mindful with this child, Seth, because, I never got a phone till I was 40. So it was a flip phone. So, he was lucky that, I mean, think about the babies that are being born now,
Oh,
like,
I saw a little video and it was a phone, like an iPhone or whatever, that was walking, and on the leash was a child,
oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
so many of them are just handing them little iPads in the car.
yeah,
Here's, oh, you're crying, here's my phone. Um, Most of these little kids that can't even talk know more what to do with the phone than I do.
yeah,
And it's a fucking babysitter, and it's bullshit.
yeah,
It's complete bullshit. The kids should be able to sit in the car for a couple hours on a trip and be fine.
yeah.
I used to give my kids I would just get a plastic container that had a lid on it, and inside was stuff that they could only play with on a road trip. So I wasn't buying new shit all the time. It would just be like, go back in the closet, we're going on a road trip. And it had coloring book and crayons and a little etch a sketch and, a book and things like that. Things that they could do in the car, use their mind, keep them busy, and then off it went, right? So,
Well,
yeah,
think about
it's,
that. And they were able, like, our children were able to look outside. Like, we camped so much, even with Seth. Like, I'm very fortunate that he was born in the time, and that I'm mindful of my practices around him. Because, like, we would, like, let's say we would go out for dinner, and it's a big deal to go out for dinner. And you teach your kids, it's a big deal to go out for
yeah,
dinner. It
yeah.
costs a lot of money. So no, my kid never got anything at the table, like a phone or an iPad. We had a piece of paper, some crayons, we would play X's
Yeah.
and O's, we'd draw funny faces. That's a time for you to, someone serving you and cooking you dinner, but there's so many people that they're at the table like this. Like,
Yeah.
I remember families with their head down like this. Like, and
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God. And I remember this one family, the father was on the phone, the 2 kids were on the phone, and the mother was just kind of looking around. And I thought, how sad. She's
Hmm.
just sitting there looking around, and all their heads are cocked down. You know,
Yeah.
I was just like, and this is our society. This is something that's acceptable. I find it disgusting. And I verbalize that. I'm very opinionated, and that's not very favorable in this world either. It's not
Right.
favorable to have these kind of views. Not to
We
say
have,
perfect, like,
no, but we have a generation of zombies. This
100%.
is the zombie apocalypse. We're fucking in it. They're not even looking up from their phone to cross the street. Or if they do, halfway through the street, they got to look at their phone like they're that fucking important.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, somebody, no. Or, in the past, if we've been, at the house and my kids got their phones or something, and I'll be like, are you texting me? Are you trying to get a hold of me? Because I'm right fucking here.
Yeah.
Like, put that shit down. This
Yeah.
is ridiculous. But we do need to be mindful about what comes out of our mouth. And of course, I wasn't aware of that till my kids were grown and already left. But I'll tell you one thing, the same-sex parent is the biggest role model, because with my daughter, for instance, she's 32. She started going to the gym. She's not built like me. She's built more like the Augustines, where they're a little bit more slight. Like Riley's about 5'7" and maybe 100 and, well, she might be 120 pounds. Like they're smaller boned.
Wow.
And so she started going to the gym, and she's just going to rock it because she's got a lot of strength. She's got functional strength, not just go to the gym for an hour strength. She's got functional strength. But she texted me and she said, I'm going to have to start going to the gym earlier, because at this time there's a bunch of girls here in their short shorts and their short shirts. And she goes, if you're really here working out, like, this is, she's thinking this, why are you wearing all that makeup? Because it looks the same when you leave. Are you even sweating? And I remember saying that, I don't know how many years ago, about the ones that would come, like, big deal, right? Let it go. It's not a big deal. But the ones that would come with their hair all fucking perfect and their makeup fucking plastered on their face and not sweat a fucking ounce. And Riley just wants to go in there and throw down, right? Like, she's like, get the fuck. Riley has never worn makeup. A couple times for a wedding or something, or a photo shoot, and which she did, and the pictures turned out beautiful with her Jeep. But she said to me, Jesus, Mom, my face broke out for a week after all that shit on it. Because in high school, like grade 8 or 9, when the little girls back then started wearing makeup, they would say to Riley, you need to wear makeup. And Riley's like, you know what, Mom? I formed my personality. I didn't rely on pasting shit on my face in order to get attention, to be liked. And she never, like maybe 5 times in her life, has she ever put on makeup, ever.
That's so
And
cool.
I'm like, good for you. Good for you for sticking to what you believed in. Not that I ever wore a lot of makeup, right? Not very often.
Well, it's so funny. Seth says it all the time. He's like, did you notice how much makeup she was wearing? I mean, even
Yeah.
though I wear makeup, I think other people, like, I don't think it looks like I wear too much. Like, I don't wear too much makeup,
No,
just
you
enough.
accentuate what you have. You're not trying to cover up what you've got.
Yeah. But these
I think
women,
there's a difference.
yeah, these women, like Seth's so critical. He's like, did you see how much makeup she was wearing?
Well, now these girls in high school are getting they're getting implants. They're getting their fucking nails done all the time, which is terrible for your
Eyelashes.
nails. And those fucking eyelashes. Now, don't get me wrong. I like a tint and a lift of your own lashes.
Yeah.
And in the past, I've gotten eyelashes, but I end up with no lashes because they drive me nuts and I pull them out. But a friend of mine has these ones that are so thick and so fucking stupid looking. They look like a tire got shredded on the highway or something. I'm
Oh
like,
my
what
God.
the fuck?
They're
What the fuck?
ridiculous. I'm so sorry. Like they're just over the top.
It's
They're
stupid.
injection, their lips are over the top. Everything's over the top. Butts are over the top. Boobs are over the top. Lips are over the top. Fillers are over the top. Eyelashes, hair
But
extensions,
what
you
the fuck are
know.
they gonna look like? Your nails need to breathe, your toenails, your fingernails need to breathe. And they were saying that when they do them and then they put them in under the light and stuff like that, it's not good. That's causing a lot of chemicals, a lot of toxins, maybe even the big C. Like,
Oh, it's
of course, here's me.
crazy.
I always clip mine. The
Oh,
shorter they are, the better.
yeah, my
But
nails are like, if I get a little bit, Seth will go, Mom, you got to cut your nails. Because he grew up with a woman that I don't have nails.
Yeah.
So when he sees me with nails, he's like, what's going on there? Cut your nails.
But where's the self-esteem? Where's the certainty of self in these young girls? It's gone. It's gone.
It's so
You
sad.
know,
It's so
and
sad.
they're just
Like we live in a tourist town, right? But whenever I go downtown, oh Lord, like what you see, oh Lord, it's crazy.
it's and don't get me wrong, I've done the hair dyes and I've done the lashes before and I did the fake nails for a bit and the plastic surgery and all this. And I'm just like, wow, I really learned quite a few things because youth is wasted on the young.
My God,
Because
it's
there
so
comes a
true.
time when, people would say to me when I was drinking heavy and partying all the time, that shit's gonna catch up with you. And I'm like, not to me, it won't. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm very special. And it fucking does, your body only has so many resources inside of it. And if you're just blowing them left, right, and center, you're gonna run out. So I'm very proud of my daughter for, being who she is. And she went in to be a mechanic and she's been working up in Fort St. John for over 10 years now, which to me
Wow.
is a little far away. I mean, I can do an 8-hour trip in one time, but it takes a lot. I prefer not to. If Mike and I do it, it's fine because he does all the driving.
Is she
But
living up there?
oh fuck, she's been up there since she was 21.
So she actually lived there too.
Yes, she came home for a couple stints for a few months here at a time, or however long it was, but it wasn't quite long enough. So, but she loves it up there, and
Wow.
now she has a job. She makes almost $58 an hour,
Good for her.
right? And she's worked hard. She's got her level 3 first aid, or I think that's the hard one. She's a certified millwright, a certified mechanic, and her resume is extraordinary. And part of what makes her who she is putting herself in uncomfortable positions. And that is working with men in men environment. And a lot of these people, not all of them up there, but a lot of these men, they're stuck in the old ways.
Yeah.
And her being a smaller woman on top of it, they fucking put her through the tests and she persevered every fucking time. It made her that little bit stronger. And there, believe me, there was some circumstances where I wanted to go up there and fucking charge them all with certain things because they were very fucking inappropriate.
Yeah.
So she made it through. And then she said to me last year, she said, well, you know why I went up there, Mom? And I said, no, I fucking don't. Like in all the places of the world, why do you have to be 8 hours away from me?
Yeah.
She goes, to be the best in my field, like you were the best in yours.
Aw.
And I was like, what? Oh my God. And what she's referring to is when I was the first woman working on site for Pioneer Log Homes. And my job, I was pretty newly divorced. My spousal support had ended and I needed to get a job. And because I stayed home with the kids, I would have needed to go to school to get an office job and I thought, well, and working out was a big deal to me then. And I was like, well, how am I going to get my exercise and make money and still just be away from my kids 8 hours a day? And so I knew the owner of Pioneer Log Home. So I asked him if I could come and peel some logs. And I was 30 at that time because I'd peeled a log or two when I was 16. So it shouldn't be that hard. And I thought I was just going to be there for the summer until I figured something out. And I ended up peeling logs for like 2 years through
Wow.
the winter, through the fucking summer. And then my boss come up to me, my beautiful Bayet Schwaller from Switzerland, and he said, I think you're getting bored. I was running the crane by that time and stuff too. So I'd kind of run from the peeling deck over to the crane and back and forth, and then became more of a full-time crane operator and stuff. And then my boss said to me, I think you're getting bored. He goes, I think you need to buy a power saw. And I said, can I buy a saw smaller than what the guys have? And he goes, he goes, Jesus Christ, Sheila, you're bigger than most of the men out here. he said, no, you can't. So I ended up running saw and building log homes and stuff like that until my back just couldn't take it any longer. And so I went to school and I thought, well, I'm going to take a log scaling course, which had about a 75% failure rate for the first timers. And so I took this course and I passed. And so I became a log scaler. And then I gave Pioneer a couple more years. I would scale their house logs and still build houses. And then I was like, you know what? I need to make a little bit more money. So a scaling position came open at one of the local sawmills. And I was hired as a log scaler, weighing in logging trucks and scaling logs in the mill. And it was right up my alley because most of these people I knew were my dad's friends
Oh,
or they were their children.
oh, wow.
So it was like a dream job to me. Again, until my back, and scaling is probably the least physical job in the mill. I know because on breakups I would go into the mill and I would pile boards. But my back just couldn't take it anymore. And there was talk of the mills closing down at that time, and that was in 09, I think it was. And Mike said, we'd been together for a couple of years, and he said, what are you going to do if the mills go down? He said, your back is fucked. Like, basically, the reality is, who's going to hire you? And so I went off on a disability at that point and have been challenged with my back on and off ever since. But one of the things that ayahuasca has showed me is, especially in my last ceremony, that all these things I'm doing are great, but I've left quite a bit of my healing up to other people, was my revelation. That acupuncture and massage, and I was spending about $1,000 a month going to these people. And even though I do stuff on my own, I was kind of in a bit of a funk, right? And so the second night of ayahuasca, I asked her to show me what's going on with my root chakra, my sacral chakra, and the left side of my body, which is all feminine, all mother stuff. And she showed me that I needed to love myself, to start doing daily womb meditations and reconnect with my guts, our intuition, and everything comes from the womb, right? I believe woman should be spelled WOMBMAN, the woman. And so I've been doing that and integrating that daily, except for yesterday. I was laying in bed and I thought, holy fuck, I've been so good every day doing, all I need to do is minimum of 5 minutes reconnecting, right? But I've been doing 20, 30 minutes. And so I laid in bed with, well, that's going to be upside down, but it's like this, and you put it on your womb. And I just did my own meditation in bed before I fell asleep. And that's, thanking myself, loving myself, thanking my womb, because I had become really disconnected with that part of me. Like, you say you love your periods. That was a drag for me. I'm just like, God, this is just such a pain in my ass every month, and pregnancies and stuff, a huge disconnect. But I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but it was also revealed that 90% of my stuff isn't my stuff. I'm the one chosen and have chosen to release this for my ancestors. And I have a great grandmother who went through a lot of trauma as an infant, and I am releasing that trauma. So it is my life's purpose, and that became quite clear in my last ceremony. And so I have work to do. I don't like work. I have a practice to do now, and I'll go back to ayahuasca again in October. And I had a good cry in this session as well. I don't top purge, I bottom purge. And I believe that's because my top chakras are quite clear, but it's my lower chakras that are dealing with the trauma and the darkness. So I'm super excited. I'm calmer. And I'm not fearful of what ayahuasca shows me any longer. I understand, and I know she does, and she shows what I'm strong enough to see. And to work with her on now instead of being distracted from the uncomfortable parts and not working through it. So, wow, that story kind of went full circle. But yeah, so in a good place. I'm feeling a little tired today. I had an hour and a half massage where she really got into my neck and stuff like that. And it's just yeah, just probably a little bit lower energy day. But I did go for my first walk. You'll probably be shocked at this, but my first walk outside in months. The reason for that is quite often well, it can debilitate me daily. My left side, it's my sciatic, it's my piriformis, and I can go out to do stuff. And within 5-10 minutes, I'm seized right up. And this pain gets right into my left hip. And it's absolutely fucking excruciating and debilitating. So
Wow.
you were talking about the phone. I was, going to take my phone for a walk because, you never know when you might need to call somebody. Well, the fucking truth of it is, I'm probably only going to be gone for 20 minutes. Like, anybody who comes up to me is going to have to be on something because I'm quite a force. Like, people don't fuck with me, right? So I'm just like, no, fuck off. Leave the fucking phone at home. And so I did. And Mike had the dogs today. So I was able to and because I don't even walk properly, and that affects my left side and stuff too. So I took my walking stick and I'm just like, you know what? Just slow down. Just slow down and just walk and make sure your placement of your feet is proper and just go enjoy it. And if that means you get 10 minutes down the road and turn around, fucking right on. And that's what I did. I was gone for about 12 minutes, turned around, fucking walked back. And I was like proud of myself. But I'm not going to lie, there was that fight of the devil and the angel where, because I used to do all this. Oh, fuck me. I did it all plus some. And I was fucking good at it, to now being okay with walking that time. But if my physical body hadn't have been taken from me, the rug hadn't have been pulled out from me, I would have never gone inward. Never.
That's beautiful, Sheila. That's a beautiful. It's beautiful.
Kind of a beautiful little rant.
I love it.
But I was saying earlier, I am back on the ketones. I took a couple months off because I had to be very mindful about what I was eating. And what I really like is just the protein. So women, most people are deficient in protein, women especially, and it's important for me. And plus, it's a dark chocolate flavor, which is okay. I haven't been eating chocolate, so it just gives me that little bit of, I guess, something sweet after
Do they
so
have
long of not.
do they have the ketones in the protein form? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Not those packages anymore. It's the protein powder.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's still in packages. Some of it comes in a tub, but this flavor comes in the packages. Yeah. And don't even ask me how many grams or whatever, because I can't even fucking remember. And I think it's pumpkin seed. It's not whey, it's pumpkin seed. I think it is. And
Probably 25. It probably
yeah,
stands.
I love it. So it's nice to be back on it. And plus, it's a mild appetite suppressant too. So I'm just trying to fast a little bit more. But what you were saying about the phones too, because when I was dieting and camping, there's no phones and there's certain foods. To be able to sit with oneself with no distractions of snacking or anything like that is a fucking trip. I'll tell you that. So just like smoking pot, when I was smoking pot and I quit and I realized I was doing it just to do it, that I was bored, that, I got lots of books, I got lots of windows to clean, I got lots of meditations too, I got all kinds of stuff, but we don't, because we're still able to do this. So unless you make a conscious decision, like when I was on dieta, I just couldn't stop. It was connected to the shaman. I had made a commitment to the plants. I had made a commitment to myself. And even though I wanted to quit numerous times because it was so uncomfortable, I can see how being single, how being in a hammock in the fucking jungle eating chicken and bananas would be the perfect place to be. It was a challenge. And so I'm very proud of myself. I did 7 weeks. I have a very busy June. I'm leaving this weekend on a 60th birthday party with a girlfriend, little girls weekend to Vernon. Next weekend we have my ex's 60th birthday. I have a wedding, and then we're going on a razor trip for 5 days. And even though I still could have done it, I wanted just a little bit of freedom to enjoy my happy, to touch my husband. That was probably the biggest thing, not touching my husband for 2 months.
Yeah,
I
this,
missed that.
so basically you did that for how long? How many weeks?
7.
7 weeks. And what did it entail again? Just,
So I had actually done the diet for 9 weeks because you have to, or 10 weeks because you have to diet really quite strictly a couple weeks before ceremony. The medicine's going to work better if you can do that. So it was no pork, no red meat, no sugar, no dairy, no caffeine, no processed foods, no like spices, no hot stuff. And I would take plant medicines. They were Ajo Sacha and Pino Colorado. I would take them every 2 days. I would take them daily for about 10 days and then every second day. Those ones were for me picked diarrhea, constipation, removing dark energies. And the plants really, really guided me to a lot of intuition and to your higher self. So it involves no touching and being in as much as in seclusion as you can. So it's also a social dieta, because when you're doing these diets, you can be very susceptible to energies. And I was allowed to touch the dogs and little children because they're both pretty, or the animals are pretty pure, as well our little kids. Um, Other than that, it was, and I'm a hugger, so it was, yeah, it was difficult. And I'd go to kiss my husband just out of, habit, and he'd go, and it was really tough at first because,
wow.
um, um, you know, when he would go to work or stuff, and the first week was horrible. I hated it. I was like, what am I going to eat? And because I just dove into it. Some people prepare themselves for a year before they start diet.
Yeah.
Some people do numerous ayahuasca ceremonies before they start diet. Most people are like, you doing diet already? And I'm just like, why is everybody saying that? Well, now I know. Because it was like, what do you do with yourself? Because if you're not snacking, you're smoking something, or you're on your phone, or you're
Yeah.
fucking distraction. And I actually had to be with myself. I had to be present, and I had to be okay just looking out the window at the river or the lake or just whatever. So I'm very proud of myself. It was a trip. It was a trip and a half. But
Wow.
when I got to ceremony, I told the shaman, and I had assumed other people had told him as well, that on the first night, I said, I'm only here for 2 nights. I'm here to close my dieta. And on the second night, I said to him, did you close my dieta last night? Because I don't know what it all entails. And he goes, no, you need to be here for 3 nights. And I'm like,
Oh,
no, I'm only here for 2 nights.
yeah.
And he goes, well, like, can you drive 2 hours to where your husband's at and tell him you're not going to be there tonight and come back and do the third night tomorrow night? And I said, I can do anything, but I'm not doing that. Like I said, I'm actually pretty frustrated right now in front of the whole ceremony room. I said, I've done my due diligence. I've done everything. Nobody told me I had to be here for 3 nights. The plants know this part of my dieta, our relationship is coming to a close, because I was so excited. I was so excited to leave there on Saturday, and you got to go into it slow. You got to reintroduce food slow. You got to reintroduce the touching slow, all this stuff. I get it. But I was excited to go back to see my husband.
Yeah.
I had put in good effort, and I was actually just about crying. I said, I'm so frustrated right now. Like, I've done it. I've done everything. And so the shaman said, well, we'll close it, even if I have to sing to you 3 times. And I said, okay. So that night, he was closing a few diets and opening some for others. And I had to go to the bathroom and bottom purge, and I came out, and then it was time to sit with him. And I sat down, and I went, oh, and he goes, how are you? And I said, I'm good. How are you? And he goes, you don't sound good. And I said, you know what? It's an honor to do this work. It's an honor. intense and can be draining, 100%. But I'm here to do something and I'm honored to be here. And so he was able to close my dieta in one song. And um, and at the end of singing to me and stuff, and it was so cool because all my dogs came to me, and I'm starting to see, my mind's eye is starting to see things in color, which usually is black and white, and I had faces coming to me in color, and it was my dad and my great grandmother, and I've seen all my ancestors around me, and it's such a beautiful thing. And at the end of it, he says, Senorita Chocolata. And I'm like, no chocolata for this girl. I said, you really want to make me purge? Because the thought of chocolate right then, I just wanted to fucking throw up. And I said, you know what? I've got a purge bucket that I've bedazzled, and I've only actually top purged once. And I said to him, you know what? I'm going to change my puke bucket to my poop bucket. So that's what I seem to be doing a lot. But at least this time I wasn't in the bathroom, not even half the time I was in March.
Oh my God.
So I just got to text a girl really quick. She says she's popping over, but I'm going to tell her she needs to give me 15 more minutes.
That's funny.
Oh, she's still at school track. Okay. I need till 11:30.
What a freaking trip, man. Holy shit.
Oh, ayahuasca is a trip. I love ayahuasca. I will probably do ayahuasca when I'm called, but right now I'm thinking it's going to be at least twice a year.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And the friends that I've made, and I've really connected with some people, and I have not connected at all with other people. Like, it's fucking wild. Whatever. But oh gosh, I've made such good friends. So it's like, we've been somewhere before, some other place and time, and it's a beautiful thing. And to watch their adventures, on Instagram and stuff like that. And it's so wild. And to listen to people's traumas that they're working through, and their toxicity and stuff is just, the stories would just blow your mind, man. Like, holy fuck. And I say to people, anybody that faces their stuff is to be commended. But there's something about those that do this type of healing. Now, I haven't done a ton, right, of other stuff. So I'm going to refer to ayahuasca, who is the grandmother of plant medicine. She is the most powerful. There's something about those who can face their stuff with ayahuasca. Wow. And I say to people, you're being called if you just start thinking about her. That's her calling you. Yeah. And not everybody will heed the call, and not everybody will maybe get the call, and that's okay too. It's the individual soul contract, and yeah, it's just such an intense, glorious thing. Now, there's a book at the retreat of shamans and people who have painted the visions they've seen, and they're colorful and they're beautiful. But like the shaman says, it could take some people years, depending on what they need to work through in order to see even color, to be able to see these beautiful, gorgeous things that are out there for us. But you got to work through this first. You can't go from kindergarten to university. You got to work through layers of the onions, layers of the darkness, because it's not just our stuff, Lorna. Our DNA holds all the trauma and the wisdom from every fucking ancestor that came before us. It's in us. So I've realized that 90% of my stuff isn't my stuff. My disconnect from my womb isn't my stuff. But now I understand it. I've taken accountability for the stuff that when I was promiscuous, and I didn't know, and I didn't realize the importance of sexual energies. And I've forgiven myself for that, because it's about here and now. But so much of my stuff is just to be released. So I have a girlfriend whose family has dealt with a lot of mental stuff, and one of her daughters, is really in the thick of it, right? And now it's medications, I'm going to say to her this weekend when we go away that, if it comes up, because I'm not going to be a deep thing, it's going to be a fun thing. But I believe her daughter is the one chosen to release this. It's time now to stop the trauma. But when you're not aware of it and you still go to a 3D fix, the medications, you get sucked into the drama of it, the chaos of it.
The external, yeah.
Yeah. What if we looked at this a different way? That this is a gift for her to release for her DNA line.
Yeah.
Before she passes it on to the next one.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful my daughter's aware, and she did ayahuasca before me. She knew there was something dark inside her, and she asked to be sick for the family. And she was the sickest anybody had ever seen at a ceremony. Yeah. So will she do it again? I don't know. But when one person in the family starts to heal, whether anybody else does anything different or not, the ripple effect is massive. You don't even know. You don't even know. It's massive.
Yeah.
And I actually saw my kids' dad going to the grocery store, and I'm like, oh my God. I said, what are you doing getting groceries? And he's like, actually, I'm going up to camp with your son, our son, and he needs groceries too. And I said, oh, that's so great. And we chatted for a bit, and later on, Riley calls me and she goes, so you saw Dad at the grocery store? And I said, yeah. And she goes, you know what, Mom? He says you really look good. And I
Aw,
said, oh, that's so sweet. There's a lot of love there still.
that's awesome. That's nice.
Not in love, but love and respect. Yeah. So yeah. We've been on for over an hour.
Yeah. Oh, 1, 1, 1, 1.
No.
What? Yeah. 1, 1, 1. Oh, now it's 2.
Oh, look at that. Ha, that is so cool. Oh,
That is
sorry, I was
cool.
kind of rambling Sally over here.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's what this is all about. Us getting together and expressing ourselves. And you've just been through quite a journey. And so it's good to kind of touch base with you. I was curious to find out what went on and how it went. And it's
Well,
nice to touch base.
one more thing is that in my 7 nights prior to these two, um, ayahuasca would come for my face and kind of distort, and it was quite uncomfortable, and I was always distracting myself from it. I'm like, and I would say to her, can you please lighten up a bit, like this is pretty intense. And over the last 2 months I realized that it was because I was waking up with a scowl on my face. Now, if you know the front wall of my home, which is also the front wall of my bedroom, it's all glass and timber. So I wake up like I'm at the fucking spa every day. So why am I waking up in so much defensiveness?
Wow.
Like somebody was going to steal my peace, right? And so I would recognize when I was distorting my face or my mouth, or even when Mike would come and talk to me, I'd be like,
Yeah.
like what bomb is he going to drop? And not that he does that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would catch myself and I would say to myself, like, what's really wrong? And so ayahuasca showed me that it was because my grandmother's peace was taken from her as an infant. She suffered so much sexual trauma.
Oh no.
Okay, so this wasn't mine. This
Right.
wasn't mine. But the plant medicines were showing me. So over 2 months, I was like, relax, you're safe, like relax, relax. And in the ceremony, that didn't happen,
Oh, good.
and I had a good cry, like I had a bad cry, the bad cry
Nice.
in ceremony, which I hadn't done before. So yawning, crying, when you get cold and you're shivering, all these things are releasing,
Yep.
releasing. And whenever like my root chakra area would be a challenge, instead of thinking, oh, I wish it would just go away, I wish it would just go away, because the doctor's given it a term, but that's not really what's going on, right? Instead, now if something goes on, I just go, yes, release,
Yeah.
release. and how, things are healing. So it's pretty amazing. Some white parts of skin are now pink again.
Nice.
I've got some marks between my breasts too that started going white, and they're healing, and it's beautiful.
Well, you've got a beautiful glow going on, and you can see you've got more softness in your face from previous. If you look at your old videos and stuff, and like you were saying, the attention that you pay to yourself, just the simple 5 minutes in the morning can really set you up for success for the day. Just to be in that, like you said, doing your meditation, and then focusing on your face, are you scowling? And that ease, just that, like, get into your body and make it know that everything's okay, right?
Yes, I've been in protection mode all my life.
Yeah.
And she showed me that once I do this work, take care of myself, that my whole body will heal. The left side will be gone, and I can have the freedom to go for a nice long walk. I can do all these things, right? And it's just, and my recipe book, because I wasn't enjoying cooking for years. I was just like, fuck, why do I got to do this all the time? And probably from my grandmother too, great grandmother,
Yeah.
because she had a disconnect with her womb and she didn't even fucking know why, because she didn't remember the trauma. But
Yeah.
now cooking, I love cooking, and my recipe book has grown exponentially. My husband is so thrilled with these things I'm creating, and I'll just get a recipe online. If it calls for milk, I'll just add coconut milk, very little, if any, salt in it. And like, just, and my system's been working the most perfectly it ever has been consistently in my entire life. I make sure to have, even though I'm eating raw food, to have a green salad minimum every 2 days, if not every day, every 2 days for sure. And yeah, it's just, I love it. I love it. I love, because I had kind of lost that creativity somewhere,
Yeah.
where women our age, they paint, they write, they finally settle down enough to Mod Podge or fuck whatever it is. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, my mom and my sister, they sew and they knit and they create and all this stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, oh, maybe I should try drawing. Oh, I can't really do that either. So, but now I can see, my creativity is coming out in my cooking.
Nice.
Even my dog cookies are different, like, love it.
Well,
Love
yeah,
it.
it seems like, you were just always climbing that ladder. I don't know if that climbing just, you're just climbing. And now, the work that you've done just to sit in it seems to be, helping you open up like a flower almost, right? You're
Well,
just,
it's connecting back with that divine feminine, because I became the divine masculine and the divine feminine as a single mom, and maybe even before. Fuck, I don't know when it happened. Um, and it was always hitting stuff with brute force. So I
yeah,
was always very strong, and that's what I knew how to do, was do the physical hard stuff, until I couldn't do that anymore, use my body. And so I want to be more feminine, and I want my husband to be the divine masculine.
yeah.
So I need to, even when I was having, my ancient poop, it was like shitting a brick. It was fucking, it was great. It was like fucking cement. And one of the assistants come into the bathroom, like, cause who fucking cares, right? Everybody's fucking purging, and what, it's dark, but she comes in and she goes, breathe, love it out, love it out,
Wow.
instead of fighting and pushing and just wanting it to be gone. Like, can we be done this already?
Yeah.
Love it. Feminine. Let's go. Right. And so I remind myself of that daily. And I can find when I'm starting to get a little, the shoulder, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, like, what is so wrong? Look at your life.
Yeah.
Really? That person can wait. That doesn't need to be done today. And oh, well.
You're being much more kinder on yourself, more loving. You're
But if
really
we
mothering
have to be,
yourself. Yeah.
because if we're not, who's going to be?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well,
so
just even with your walk today, was it today or
yeah,
yesterday?
no, today.
Today. I mean, just to be okay with 12 minutes or, you
Yeah,
know, that's a big thing. That's big.
I have to be. And so I set myself a mark. And then next time I go, I may go to that mark and back, or I might do a little bit longer and
Yeah.
back. And then, yes, part of me said, oh, remember when you used to go across the highway and fucking tackle that hill up the mountain? Yeah, I do, but not today.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I'm not going to get there by the end of the summer, but it's just saying not today. And then
Yeah.
I came home and I stretched, and I do have a girl coming over shortly to pick up some stuff. And yes, how it's up to us to rule the day before the day rules us. And if we're getting up and we're on that phone right away, the day is ruling us before we even have a chance to breathe. So if you use it as an alarm, put your phone in the bedroom or across the hall, get up, shut it off, go back, get ready, do your stuff, have your coffee, have your shower, whatever it is. But don't let the day rule you. So, and that's one thing that I don't even miss Facebook anymore. But sometimes my phone would say, you've had like 4 hours of screen time today.
I know. Well, and that's just like being accountable for that. Like everyone should look and just look at their phone and see how many hours they're on that a day and just really be critical with yourself to go, is that okay? Would this be
No,
okay for, your son or your daughter? Or yeah, it's not
because
okay.
it does something to your brain. It puts it into hyper fucking sleep mode or something. I can't remember what the word is, but
Well, it hypnotizes you. Yeah. Yeah,
no,
totally. I'm
no.
making I'm gonna make some adjustments. I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna strategically figure out what's gonna work for me to have success. Because there's that voice that says, well, you're just listening to podcasts, or, oh, you're just doing this, you're just doing that. So I know there's like things that you can set up on your phone where you're only allowed to be like, you can put a timer on it. So you're only allowed a half an hour of Instagram,
Yeah,
right? And then
yeah.
that's it. So there are things that you can, stop yourself.
But maybe instead of figuring it out, you ask your higher self, which is you,
Yep.
for guidance. Call your angels in, call your ancestors in, and just sit and let it come to you. I don't believe that at this stage and with the work that a person has put in, that you need to chase stuff anymore. You don't need to figure it out. You need to let it come to you.
Well, that's what I mean. I need to sit with it. I need to sit
Yeah,
with it and see what comes to me to be like, just even like this, what I'm doing with my diet the last little while, or stopping coffee. It's sitting with, that counsel, and maybe
yeah,
that's what I'm talking to all the time, that dual person.
yeah,
Maybe it's my angels.
yeah.
Uh, So I got to figure out, sit down, listen, and figure out what I'm, going to do, because I
And
just ridiculous. I just think you know, it's really sad, right?
what's sad?
Well, just
Oh,
being on
that.
the phone all the
Oh,
time,
fuck. Yeah. No,
no,
it's fucked. It's so fucked.
so
Like,
fun.
we do watch a little bit of TV in the evenings. Like last night we watched the movie Robin Hood with oh god, I can't remember that actor. It was such a good show. But if I do have the TV on, I've got it on like womb healing frequency, or um Dos Elos to Uno Rezo, is, just some really nice vibe and music.
Yeah.
And even when my animals have been connected with the animal communicator, they tell her how much they love the music.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty
Oh,
awesome.
so fun. You have two dogs, right?
Yeah.
I have three.
Yeah.
We went for a walk this morning. Like I told you, I got a weighted vest, which I love.
Good.
I
Good.
freaking love it. Like,
Good.
I can't even tell you. Well, I'm telling
Okay.
you, but it's like, well, because I'm kind of wired like that too, where I want to go for the dog walk, but I don't find it, I want it to be my workout, more of a workout, because I've got so many things to do, right?
Yeah.
And so, so I got that weighted vest. And it reminds me, I was thinking about, how we were carrying babies when we were pregnant. And then once the baby was out, then we would pack the baby around all the time. And
Yeah.
there's something about weighted on my shoulders, because I actually weighted a backpack for a little bit, but it pulls too much
Oh,
back. There's not enough weight in the front, but the
yeah.
weighted vest has weight in the front, weight in the back, and then it's
Perfect.
heavy on your shoulders. What
Yeah.
I'm finding is it's stretching my traps out,
Yeah.
and
Nice.
then I don't buckle it up, so my shoulders go back.
Yeah.
So I'm finding it's working on my posture, opening me
Good.
up here.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I think it's really good for my bone density, of course, being the age I am. And plus it's just fun. I really love training, but
Yeah.
it's a softer way to train, right? It's
Yeah.
like a nice zone two if you want, or whatever you want to say. But I feel really good out there. Like, oh my God,
Good.
I just want to go camping. That's all I want to do. Go hiking and camping.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, I just want to
Beautiful.
go camping.
Well, 'tis the season, that is for sure.
It is.
Well, I love you very much. I'm gonna have my egg lady's gonna be popping over and then another lady here shortly, so I should
Nice.
probably end before they show up.
Okay, I'm going to say adore, or what is that? Like goodbye.
Bon voyage. No, that's a
Bon
good trip.
voyage.
Adios.
Adios, amigos. Till the next
Adios.
time.
I love you very much, and I hope you have a super awesome day. And yeah, I think we should work on that. You coming over here.
Yes, we're gonna do that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. We'll figure something out.
Yep, with our busy summer schedules. It's crazy.
Well, the only time I'm gone is usually up for my birthday around July 25th. We're on the shoe swap. That's my favorite place to be for my birthday. Um, and Mike, I think, is going camping with some guys around August 10th and 11th, but I'm going to be here.
Oh,
So we
that might
don't have, yeah, we don't have any other plans to be away to do anything. So,
maybe when he's gone.
right?
Yeah, send me those dates. Just
Yeah,
text it to me and I'll write it down in my book.
yeah,
Because
sounds good.
that might be a good idea.
Yeah, right after the long weekend of
Yep.
August. All
Okay.
right, love you, girl.
Okay, love you too.
Rock on.
Bye-bye.
Bye.